Hey guys, Sensei Tom down here at Toro Martial Arts Academy. Now we're going to be looking at the green belt level self-defense technique from the adult jiu-jitsu curriculum, okay? We've got a couple wrist locks here. The first one is called kotegashi. This one I like the best from the two-hand front choke, okay? Surrender position, hands come up, one hand reaches inside to apply pressure on the trachea to push them back. You could use that by itself, but as your opponent is pulling away, if you grab the thumb side of their hand, and then rotate the wrist to the outside, add the second hand in, then you've got a nice little wrist lock takedown here, bringing them down to the floor. Again, I can throw a strike here, I might drop into knee on belly and then move into some ground fighting technique, but for right now, we'll just focus on the wrist lock itself. So one more time from the front choke, hands come up, apply the pressure to the trachea, grab the thumb side of the hand, rotate to the outside. If you notice, my thumbs are going to go across the back of the hand, not on the fingers, but on the back of the hand below the knuckles, okay? I compress and rotate, and that applies the wrist lock here. You could also do that from a straight wrist grab as well, okay? But for the straight wrist grab, there's a different version I like better called maki kotegashi, or reverse grip. So we're going to look at maki from the straight grab. I look at my hand, I come underneath now and grab the thumb side. So it's kind of the same thing happening to her wrist, but my hands are going to be in a different position. I reach underneath and I grab the thumb side of her wrist. I flip my other hand over to grab the pinky side, and then I do the same rotation. So her hand is doing the same thing, but instead of my grip being this way, both of my hands are flipped upside down, and then the pressure of the lock is pretty much the same thing. This also works great from two hands, okay? So I come up underneath and I grab the thumb side of the hand, flip this hand over. I especially for this one like to kind of step back as I pull my opponent down to the ground, okay? So that's maki kotegashi. The next wrist lock we have on this level is called ikkyo. Ikkyo is my favorite from the single lapel grab if the arm is straight. Surrender position again. This is especially important if she throws a punch here. I want to be able to cover my head if the punch comes out. So I always put the hands up first. I reach across with the opposite hand. I rotate. I'm not going to pull her hand off my collar. Okay? I rotate, and I want to keep her wrist compressed until her fingers point straight up. And then, just like the cross grab shoulder lock from before, I step in and I control. So to show you the difference, cross grab shoulder lock, I have a grip on the forearm. Ikkyo, I have a grip on the hand and I'm compressing the wrist. So this is actually a little stronger because you can add some pain compliance from the wrist compression. So again, ikkyo from the straight collar grab, my hands come up, I reach across to the opposite hand, rotate, again keeping her wrist compressed the whole time, and then I apply pressure to the back of the shoulder and step in and control. Ikkyo can be done from a straight wrist grab as well, rotating to the outside as opposed to maki, kotegashi coming to the inside. But I think maki is a better technique. But ikkyo does work on the outside wrist grab as well, okay? The last one on this level is the standing straight arm lock. This is one of my favorites because you can use it for a lot of different attacks. You can use it for a front choke, you can use it for a hand on the shoulder, you can use it for a collar grab, you can even use it for a front hair grab. For simplicity, I'm going to show it from a shoulder grab. Okay, so she reaches out and puts the hand on my shoulder. Hands come up, surrender position as always. I grab the wrist from the outside with both hands. I'm not reaching really deep like I would for the wrist locks. I'm just grabbing straight on the wrist. My opposite hand is closer to her hand. Same side hand is closer to her elbow. Now, I'm not going to pull her hand off of my shoulder. I'm just going to rotate, keeping my elbows in line until my elbows point up and down. And then from here, I'm going to pull her through, and then I'm going to use my arm to kind of chomp on the back of her elbow and drop my body weight down and apply pressure to the arm. So it's just like an arm bar, basically, but we're doing it from standing. In a normal arm bar from the guard, the elbow would point to the floor. In this one, it's basically just upside down. Elbow points to the ceiling, thumb points to the floor. Same thing on the other side. Surrender position. I grab the arm, and again, I rotate until my elbow is pointing to the ceiling. Pull her through, and then I chomp right on her elbow with my armpit as I drop my weight down, again, leaning backwards a little bit. Don't over-rotate too much, because then her elbow can bend. I want to rotate just enough to where her thumb points to the floor, elbow points to the ceiling, okay? You may not get your partner to tap out from this, but as long as they can't stand up without hurting their own arm, then you should be good. Okay, let me show that one a little bit closer to full speed, because this is, again, a really good one. Here, this way. And like I said, if you do it from a different grab, like a hair grab, that's this side, I just keep her hand pinned down on top, and then I rotate, drop down. Again, from here, I have to verbally negotiate. Hey, let go of my hair, let go of my hair. Then I can come off here, okay? Because I've got the pressure on the elbow. I might not be able to pull this off if they're not letting go, but they can't stand up because of the pressure on the elbow, okay? So from that position, you can also do it from the hair grab. Again, it works from the choke, works from the collar grab, works from the shoulder grab. Anytime the arm is straight out in front, you can do that standing straight arm lock. All right, that's everything for the green belt level. We'll see you guys on the next one.